2013, because we will have a big library with lots of books and information, and I hope to restart not the civilization that we have today, but another kind of civilization in a very rapid time.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, how concerned are you with what is currently happening with the Earth's magnetic field, including the acceleration of the North Pole towards Siberia, and the magnetic anomalies which are causing bird deaths, fish deaths, and cow deaths, and sinkholes? As with the sun flipping its poles, could the magnetic field of the sun flip without this sunburst initially?
Well, the magnetic field, first we have to say that the magnetic field of the Earth is already declining since a very long time. A few Danish astronomers have found that more than 5,000 years ago the magnetic field from the Earth was still strong, and then the Sahara Desert was at that time a very livable place. There were trees, there were a lot of animals, and the reason was that the magnetic field of the Earth was then stronger, and that more water fell down from the Earth because the clouds had a different route than they have now today because of the weakening of the magnetic field. So the weakening of the magnetic field is already happening since more than 6,000 years and has an effect already since a very long time. And now we are in the last phase. So everything is the last 100 years the magnetic field weakened another 10%. At some places like above South Africa, you can see a reversed polarity already from the magnetic field of the Earth. And what is happening with the animals and the birds and the fish and so, if you look, I have a link on my website to another website, and there I explain that the most of the die-off of the animals is very near to the zero, between the 0 and 10% line of where the magnetic field should be. So there is a strong correlation between the magnetic field of the Earth and the die-off of the animals.
Yes, thank you, Patrick. And we did read that thing you had on blog 2012. Now, Patrick, in regards to the rotation changing, on the sun there was a flip of the magnetic poles in 2000 or 2001.
Yes.
Now, did the rotation of the sun change? The reason why I'm asking that is I wanted to use my logical cap and see the difference between if the poles flipped on Earth, is it possible the rotation of the Earth might not change?
No, that is something else. So I explained that in the theory that you can find on my website how that happens. So the flip of the poles of the sun is induced by just a normal winding up from the cycles, and then it just changes. It's a very easy calculation. You have a peak in the intensity of the north polar field or the south polar field, and if the peak is reached, then afterwards it goes down, and because it goes down, then you have a change of the magnetic field of the poles from the sun without a change in the movement of the sun. But the change in the movement of the Earth is induced by the turning around from the inner core. So well, I have to explain that in a total new way. A wave of particles from the sun with southern polarity will reach the Earth at the end of 2012. That is my expectation. The South Pole, the Earth has an angle of 23 degrees. The South Pole from the Earth at the end of 2012 is looking to the sun. So the inner core of the Earth has a South Pole. The wave of particles has a South Pole. South Pole and South Pole, they don't match together. So the inner core of the Earth is then pushed upside down 180 degrees. And if you push a ball, if you take a ball and you turn it around, and while turning around, you push it 180 degrees upside down, then you will see that the movement has reversed. And that will happen with the core of the Earth. Now, the magma won't follow that principle directly, but that will go something slower. So if you look at the Earth from, let us say, from the moon, then one day you see the Earth moving from left to right, and then very shortly thereafter, because the inner core goes upside down, you will see a crust movement from the United States to the pole, and on the other side you will see China going to the equator, and Africa and Europe are less or more stable. And after that, you will see that the movement of the Earth will go then from right to left. And that is why the movement of the Earth will change, and the movement of the Sun, I think, won't change in 2012, but it's a good question. I'm not completely sure of it. It is possible that also something will happen with the Sun, that it will start rotating the other direction, but I don't think so. The chance for the Earth is 100%, and for the Sun, you don't need a movement changing for the reversal of the poles. So.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
If there are mathematicians, or you don't need to be a mathematician. If you had high school, you can see it. It's easy explained on my website in a Word document. And most of the people that went to school to 18 years, they can understand it. It's basic explanation.
Thank you, Patrick. Lua, you have a question for Patrick.
Thank you. Patrick, can you talk about the difference between a magnetic pole shift and a geographical pole shift, and why you believe that this shift is going to be a geographical shift?
No, it's both. It's both. The North Pole will turn into the South Pole, and what is the basic explanation? Because of the inner core turning upside down, this means that if now, like now, the North Pole is standing up and the South Pole is standing down, and if you turn at 180 degrees, then you have the South Pole standing up and the North Pole standing down. You understand?
Yes, what I was asking was the difference between the two.
Yeah, it is the same. It's the same happening in one time. So now we face the North Pole up, and then in 2013 the South Pole will be standing up. So we have a magnetic shift and a geographical shift because of the inner core moving up 180 degrees. We at the same time have also an Earth crust slide and a reversal of the rotation of the Earth. So both are happening together in 2012. So it's the same. It's not what is happening now with the magnetic North Pole that is moving away 40 kilometers. That is something else. That has nothing to do with what will happen in 2012. It has something to do, but not what I mean will happen.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes, and not quite. Does it involve a equator bulge that will disappear and allow a crustal shift? Is that what you're saying is going to happen here?
Yeah, at the equator there is a bulge. Now, at a certain moment in time, if the inner core starts rotating the other side, then the Earth will stop moving. And at that moment, the equator bulge will disappear, and then the Earth crust can slide in a few hours, thousands of kilometers. And that is necessary to have the Earth crust slide, because now at this moment, if the Earth is rotating, it's impossible for the Earth crust to go over the bulge from the equator. And because of the upside down rotation of the inner core, we will have the possibility to look, as if you look at it, you will see at a certain moment the Earth standing still. If you look from the moon, and at that moment the rapid pole shift can happen.
Okay. Do you see the cycle repeating itself again in another 11,500 years?
Yes.
And do you have any idea about how we might manage to warn the people of the future about the cycle without running into the interpretation problems that this culture has had?
Whoa. Well, that is my biggest. I'm thinking about that since years and years, and I don't know what to do. I was in Istanbul a few months ago, and I visited the Hagia Sophia. It's one of the most remarkable buildings ever built. And I was thinking about making, I don't know what, something like the pyramids or something like the Hagia Sophia, but then about the polar fields and the equator field of the sun, and to warn the people in the future that they have to study the cycles from the sun, and that and to refine the theory, because I still don't know how exactly they calculated the date. I have a lot of things to crack to find that, but I am sure that a new civilization will be able to do that. So I was suggesting to other people from my survival group, look, in the far future, we need to build buildings. I don't know if it have to be pyramids, but maybe it has to be something huge, and it has to be made very clever, like with hieroglyphs, but better understandable, basic mathematics, basic things on it that everybody can understand and decode, because now I needed years to decode the Dresden Codex and the codes from the Egyptians to find what they mean, which year they mean, and so on and so on. Because the Egyptians give the same year like the Maya, but they give it with a Venus-Orion code. If Venus makes a turnaround movement above Orion, that is the year that the end will be near, and that is happening in 2012. It's not only that, because of Venus making that movement, you can also see that it is turning around above the two highest stars from Orion. And that is why I'm so sure that 2012 will be the end of times.
Thank you, Patrick. Just a quick follow-up. Could the crust maybe not shift, but could it slip without a magnetic pole flip? Maybe we're thinking about if the ice in Antarctica melted and it caused a change in the weight of the different continents. Could that also cause a crustal slip?
Do you have one moment, and can you then ask the question again?
I think it's going to break and then just drop on both sides of the mountain. So you'll get the water on the other side of the mountain, but it won't have the momentum.